Hi, my name is Ernest Kayinamura, and I'm an under 40 CEO.
The African Renaissance. The concept that the African people and nation shall overcome the current challenges confronting the continent and achieve cultural, scientific, and economic renewal is here, with young men and women taking the lead. Some call them the new school heroes. We call them under 40 CEOs.
With an executive certificate from the MIT Sloan School of Management and an MBA from the Babson College Graduate School of Business, Ernest would earlier bag his Bachelor of Science in Management Information Systems from the University of Connecticut. Ernest is a provider of integrated business and technology solutions and is responsible for the business development and overall operations of the company in the United States and Africa. He has over a decade of experience solving complex business problems with sophisticated enterprise information and communication technology, networks, and applications. Ernest Kayinamura is the Chief Executive Officer at Exocomp. All right, welcome to Under 40 CEOs, Ernest.
Thank you very much, Fab.
Amazing, great to be in Kigali.
Welcome very much.
Finally. All right, let's get into this. We did a bit of research and found that not much is online about your preteen years, your early childhood, where you were born. So do you mind sharing with us about your preteen years?
Sure. I guess the preteen years are the pre.com days, so I didn't have a Facebook page during those periods. But I was born in Uganda, but soon after quickly moved to Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. Lived there for about 4 years, then moved to Belgium for another 3 years.
Wow.
Then moved to the US. I was in New York until I was about 10. Then back to Africa and Ethiopia until I was 15. So,
wow. So tell me, when did you leave secondary school?
That's 1998.
1998. So you subsequently attended University of Connecticut.
Correct.
Right. Yeah, where you read Management Information Systems.
Correct.
What informed that choice of study?
Well, I think my dad helped me with that idea because he saw that I was creative with technology and I was always tinkering with things. At a young age, I was already helping him with the computers. He really saw the power of computers. You know, he was the first to buy a computer in his office and at home and set up the internet. So he said, you know what, I think this is the future and you have a natural interest for this. Why don't you choose this program? And I took his advice, and also I don't regret this decision.
All right, amazing. Please tell me about your time working at NL, North America.
Yes, so NL was my only employer before being an entrepreneur. I started with them straight from university, first as an internship program. And I worked hard, I did my work, they appreciated what I did. So I did 2 internships with them, and then they gave me a full-time offer immediately after graduation. So I started with them as a junior level IT analyst, quickly moved up into a managerial role, and to lastly as a director of IT for US and Canada for a global company.
Amazing. So you also bagged your master's in business administration from FW Olin Graduate School.
Yes.
What were those key learnings from that time?
Great. So FW Olin is also known as Babson College. They're a top entrepreneurial school in Massachusetts. And really they focus on the entrepreneurship journey and teaching or developing leaders as far as how to learn, how to think of problems, how to analyze a situation and make an informed decision. Because that's what entrepreneurship is. The school, let's say, it's not about what you wrote in this paper, what did you memorize, did you recite. That's not what they teach. And in fact, many of my classes didn't have textbooks. We just had case studies. It says, the professor says, read this. Next day, he challenges you and says, what do you think about this? What were the challenges? What were the alternatives? What would you have done in that situation? So what I took away from that is how to understand a problem, identify a solution, and develop an execution plan.
All right, so I guess from being in Boston, Massachusetts Institute of Technology became attractive.
Yes.
So in 2011, you took an executive course there.
Yes.
Please share about learnings from that time.
Great. So around that time, that's when I was really thinking about entrepreneurship seriously. And I knew I had my MBA, I knew I had my information systems degree, and I had roughly about 10 years of work experience. And then I decided, since I was going to do two things: one, move back to Rwanda, and two, start a business, I need to be as equipped as possible to meet those new challenges. So the MIT Sloan Executive Program is just that. It's for experienced executives from all over the world. Top companies like Toyota, Motorola, IBM, Facebook, Google. We all meet together and discuss current technology trends, and it really prepares you for business leadership.
All right, and today you're leading a business, Exocomp. So at what point did you decide to found Exocomp?
So I decided to found Hexakomb soon. Once I realized I was going to lead my company, my previous employer, which was about October 2012, I started thinking of, I need to find a name, I need to do this. I wasn't exactly sure what it was going to be, but I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. When I thought of who are my role models, who do I appreciate, and they're all executives, they have their own company. And I had the chance to have conversations with many of them, and they tell me it's just about finding what you love, find a passion, know the business of what you're getting into, and that's it. It's nothing too difficult. So I said, if they can do it, so can I.
The name and logo design for Exocomp is inspired by nature. The honeycomb is the core of a beehive, a perfect geometric structure that is incredibly strong and extremely efficient. Out of all the geometric shapes available, squares, circles, triangles, bees ingeniously selected the hexagon as their building block. Usually, entrepreneurs set out to solve a problem. What problems was Exocomp set up to solve?
Hexakomb, we do IT consulting and software development. So primarily, the problems we solve are problems for our clients. So we try to identify areas of inefficiency, whether it's a paper-based process or too much bureaucracy because of lack of information. So the systems we develop address those key challenges in an institution to make them run more efficiently. So we combine, let's say, a management consulting practice where we dig deeper into the organizational challenges that they're trying to solve before just implementing a software solution. And I think that's what differentiates us from our competitors, is that we have that understanding of business, economics, and we take that and build a solution that is tailored for the client and will solve their problem for the long term.
Hexakomb would like us to think of them as a hybrid of a management consulting firm and a software company. They believe in a holistic approach to tackling an organization's challenges and opportunities with an emphasis on efficiency and maximizing the use of information technology. All right, so talking about clients, who are your clients?
So we're fortunate to have a growing list of clients. Government of Rwanda, different international agencies, UN, World Bank. We have clients in the utility sector, Rwanda Energy Group, WASAC. We have, there's a long list. It's still growing.
All right. Tell me about those major hurdles and challenges that you've had to overcome in this space to make the strides you've made so far.
Yes. So one of the main challenges, I guess when you start the business, you're not sure which resources you'll need. So at the beginning of the company, I ended up outsourcing some components of the business. And later I found, and I was later disappointed by outsourcing and not being in control of some of the key components of my business. So that lesson forced me to dig deeper and say, what is my value proposition to the client? And from that, try to understand how can I control the quality and the performance and execution of that value proposition. So that's when I decided to bring those key components in-house, recruit people, train people, retain people.
All right. So what would you say makes the Rwandan business landscape unique?
What makes it unique is that it's a virgin territory, but it has solid leadership with a vision of where the country needs to go. So what is unique is if you have a good idea, there's people are accessible. High-level officials all have a Twitter account. They must be accessible online. You can go meet with them. So if you have a good idea and you have a good execution, you have resources there to help you succeed.
Okay, amazing. So what's the current business structure at Hexakomb?
Yeah, so we're pretty lean. We're pretty much developers and then finance and sales. So we believe in keeping it lean. I always remind people that when WhatsApp was sold to Facebook for billions of dollars, they had less than 20 employees. So in technology, it's really about the solution you offer and the product, not so much the headcount.
All right. So what are those critical lessons that you've learned and can share on running a business to profitability?
Sure. And I tell this to a lot of entrepreneurs. They think an idea is a business, but a business it's not. You need a business behind that idea. Otherwise, eventually you'll run out of funds, and your idea, no matter how good it is, it's just an idea. But you haven't analyzed the profit and loss. What will it take for you to break even? How many customers will you need to make a profit? And because you have things to pay, you have to pay your taxes, you have to pay your employees, and then lastly, you have to pay yourself.
All right, so a global professional with educational experience from the United States, from Canada, the United Kingdom, Italy, Belgium, Ethiopia, and Rwanda. Tell me, Ernest, how has travel and interacting with different cultures helped to shape your person and added value to the business?
It's always good to meet other people. The world is very diverse. There's many ideas, there's many ways of doing things. So when you travel, you gain an appreciation for how other things are done, either better or worse, so that you can improve your character, one, as a person, being able to communicate and interact with a diverse working group of people. And also professionally, you get ideas, you get inspiration from things you see around the world, and you say, oh, okay, there's something here that maybe if I tweak it, it can work well in my market. So, and also for me, having traveled to all those countries, almost 30 different countries, I really got to see the golden opportunity that's here in Africa. And most of those economies in Europe, US, and the BRIC nations have seen their super growth years exponentially, and they've had their rise, so now their economies are plateauing. But what I noticed is here and traveling throughout Africa, and I've made it a point to travel more intra-Africa, is we're just at the beginning of that growth period. And that's why you see investors very hungry to be a part of Africa. You see China aggressively, different parts of Europe aggressive, the US, they're all looking here. And some people, they think outside is so much greener, but it's funny when you see, it's like, people want to go there to be a consumer, but the Europeans, Americans are coming here to invest. Mm-hmm. So we have to see that traffic and follow the money.
Mm-hmm. All right then. So you've received a lot of nods, accolades, recognition. One just has to do a quick Google search to see all of those. But what do these nods, accolades, recognition, what do they truly mean to you?
First of all, I'm humbled for the recognition because I think as an entrepreneur, it's good to have, but that's not the goal. The goal is one, have a viable business so that you can make a living and have a living for the people who work with you. And two, make an impact. Working in Rwanda, I think the impact has been more rewarding than any accolade. For example, we've done projects in education, in energy, in water and sanitation, in gender monitoring and improvement. We're doing a project now in agriculture. So all those things, maybe if I wasn't here, somebody else would have done it, but we really feel our contribution to Rwanda and the African story.
All right, you did mention you have a lean team earlier, and we know that human resources is a critical element to consider when building any enterprise. How do you typically hire?
Okay, typically we hire through an internship program, because that's how I started my career, is through an internship program, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. So we like to do an internship program for 3 months where students who are just about to finish or in their last year of university come and do an internship. It gives us the chance to teach them a few technologies, see how they work, see their work ethic, see if they are compatible with the team. And then after that, the ones who we like, we try to hire full-time.
Okay, beautiful. So how would you describe your leadership style?
I'm a bit laid back. I like to have people who can understand what their job needs to be done. I don't try to over micromanage. I provide leadership, meaning that I'm always researching things. So sometimes, there's that boss who's reading this article, and then in the next day he's like, guys, what about this technology? What about this? What about that? And I think I'm always pushing them to try new things and not be complacent with, okay, we've been doing this, we're comfortable, it works.
All right, so tell me honestly about your flaws and failings as a leader.
Flaws and failings as a leader. That's a good question. And I think it's not so much about flaws, it's about how you recover. So I think as a leader, you have to realize you're going to make mistakes. You're not necessarily always going to make the right decisions, but how do you recover from that situation? Are you honest with the people you're working with? And at the end of the day is, were those things done with integrity and a good heart? Because as long as that's there, it doesn't matter what the problem is, you can recover. But if things are done with lack of integrity, those are very hard to recover from.
All right. What would you say are those key skill sets that a CEO needs to acquire in managing people?
Managing people, you have to know the personalities. You have to try to get to know what motivates somebody to work or not to work. People it's a variable that there's no formula. It's a lot of trial and error. You try to build a relationship. But one of my favorite bosses always taught me to hire character, teach talent.
Hire character and
teach talent or skill.
All right. So what values would you say are important to you and Hexakomb?
Yes. So our values are teamwork, integrity, and operational excellence. We really have to be excellent at what we do. Whether sometimes we do some projects pro bono for clients, and we treat that same project with the same energy and excellence as a very high-paying project. So we really try to have integrity and excellence and that key knowledge in our projects, so that whatever we do has the Hexakomb touch.
All right, so what would you say is the biggest letdown that you've experienced in business so far?
Well, we are now 6 years old, so it's it hasn't really been a letdown. Of course, there's been periods where you question, do I still stay stay in business? You're pouring money out of your pocket and you're not getting a return. But I think it's really believing in what you do, so that eventually you will get a reward.
In 6 years, Ernest has managed to build an enviable firm running on a lean team based on the values of work, integrity, and operational excellence. We believe, therefore, that his taste must be excellent and are keen to hear about his lifestyle choices. I have a few quick-fire questions for you.
Sure.
What do you love to eat?
Italian food.
Your fashion style?
Eclectic.
What fashion brands do you love to wear?
No brand, just quality.
What CEOs do you look up to?
President Kagame.
Your favorite car to drive?
Audi.
Favorite book of all time?
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Carnegie.
Yes.
All right. What book are you reading right now?
The Entrepreneurial Myth.
All right. What's your favorite travel destination?
Anywhere with clear blue water.
And lastly, I'd like to know, Ernest, what makes you happy?
One of my favorite quotes is, "Life is a soundtrack." I love music and how it brings people together. Always have music, whether it's in my car, in the house, at home, when I wake up. Good music creates a good mood, and I'm happy.
All right. Thank you for coming on Under 40 CEOs,
Thank
Ernest.
you, Fab. Yes. Hi, my name is Ernest Kayinamura, and you too can be an Under 40 CEO.